What's up guys, Deadly here. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I mummified this grape. But first, I think it's important to show you guys my train of thoughts on how I even came up with this idea in the first place. So you see, what led me to think about mummifying grapes was, well, it all started off with, I just started off really hungry. I went to the pantry to get some snacks. All that was really around for snacks was raisins. Normally I just get some peanut butter, but we were all out of peanut butter. And while I was eating those raisins, I got to thinking, I wonder what would happen if I tried to rehydrate this raisin. Could I get a grape back out of it? And it turns out, not exactly, but sort of. It did rehydrate quite a bit. And I did leave this for quite a while too, so I don't think that I'm going to get any more progress on it. As you can see, there's some pretty nasty fails growing on there now, so that's kind of a botched project in and of itself. But that kind of got me into this thinking circle here. And when I eventually got out of it, yeah, that's when I thought of mummification. You know, is mummification the same as dehydration? And I'm not really sure where the thought of mummification actually kind of entered my brain from. The only thing I could think, I'm a big fan of the Mummy franchise. I was probably thinking about Brendan Fraser. That got me thinking about mummification, and then I tied the two together. Anyways, long story short, I asked Grok, hey Grok, are mummification and dehydration the same process? And it turns out sort of, but not really exactly. There's some extra steps that you take when you're mummifying something, and you end up with quite a different product. So, well, it turns out that Grok actually has quite a bit of information on how to mummify a grape for some reason. From what I could see online, it doesn't really seem like anybody else, at least on YouTube, from what I could see, is into mummifying grapes. But I don't know where Grok got the information from, but it had pretty exact instructions. So it says that you make a mixture of baking soda and water, approximately I think one cup of water, 3 tablespoons of baking soda. You put the grape in that and you submerge it for about 3 hours. After around, or at least 3 hours, you remove it and you let it air dry, or you can dry it out in an oven at a low temperature. And what you end up with is a mummified grape. I don't know where Grok's getting this information, but it seemed to know exactly how to mummify a grape. What it told me to do was to take a cup of water and a tablespoon of baking soda. I've already got my water measured out. I'm going to stir that puppy up. And then I'm going to let my beautiful grape soak in there for, I think it said a half hour. Let me check that. So yeah, Grok says a couple hours. Whoa. And this puppy will be ready to take out and start the drying process. We can either put it in an oven or just leave it for an extended period of time when it comes out. And then you can optionally hit it with a little bit of vinegar. Allegedly, it gives it a bit of a texture. I'm probably not going to hit it with vinegar. I feel like I want to do this as old school as possible. Oh, I'm pretty excited to see what happens. All right, I left this overnight, so it's had more than a few hours. Oh no. Now we wait. Okay, so according to Grok, we can either let this thing air dry for a very long time, or we can dry it in an oven at 170 degrees Fahrenheit, checking every half hour or so. And apparently it can take like up to 12 hours, but we basically just need to dehydrate it. I don't have a dehydrator, but I would assume that the dehydrator, like the actual machine, is probably the way to go. I'm gonna try doing it this way. See, I'll check every half hour or so and see what my progress is like, but I might end up needing to do it quite a few times. I guess that's the best way. Just put it in just like that. Half hour at about 170 F. Hopefully that works. So I also did a little bit more reading about how the mummification process works in general. So apparently the ancient Egyptians would do basically exactly what I've just done, where, though obviously much more complicated than what I just did, because they're dealing with the body and I'm just dealing with the grape, but essentially they would just cover it in what's basically baking soda, though they call it something different. They have a different name for the salt. That's supposed to desiccate the body, or the grape in this case. And then once it's desiccated and dried, if it's wrapped in like a resin coating to keep any other bacteria from getting in, that's what makes it last thousands of years. I don't have any resin to actually wrap this thing in, so I'm thinking I might just, leave it out or put it in like a glass jar or something and just see how long it'll last after. But hey, we'll give it a go. We are getting there. Well, all right, guys. I think I'm pretty much all the way there. So this is actually still pretty hot. I just pulled this out of the oven for the probably like 5th or 6th time, honestly. And yeah, it is still a little bit pliable. I'm going to leave it out for a while and see if this dries right up, because there's supposed to be almost no moisture left in it when it's considered fully mummified. I'm going to leave it out and see if it hardens up. I feel like it will. If not, I'm going to fire it back in the oven here for a little bit. All right, you guys. I think this is it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's hardly even soft anymore. And the softness, it almost feels... It's hard to explain. I would say more sugary than moist. It's very low moisture at this point. Doesn't really smell like anything. I'd honestly give it a taste, but I've melted a pile of plastic in there, so I'm sure it's probably just like 100% carcinogens at this point. What I am going to do, I'm just going to leave this out in my garage and see how long it takes for it to go bad. A raisin would go bad pretty quick. Now, I know this one, I have it submerged in water, but you can see it's only been like a little over a week, and there's some pretty nasty faust growing on it. So what do you guys think? How long is this going to last? According to Grok, it will not last thousands of years like a mummy would, just because we would need to go further into the process. We would need to cover this thing in resin. But it should last a really fucking long time. If it even close to outlasts me, I'm going to be very impressed. Well, thanks for watching.